In the opening scene, we witness global turmoil termed as the solar crisis by scientists. As the sun transitions into a red giant, it poses a looming threat to engulf Earth within a century. To prevent this catastrophe, the United Nations, now recognized as the United Earth Government or UEG, initiates the Moving Mountain Project. Its primary objective is to construct 10,000 colossal nuclear fusion engines capable of propelling Earth away from the solar system towards another hospitable star system. Despite the noble aspirations of the project, its exorbitant operational expenses and excessive resource consumption incite riots and protests from individuals indifferent to future calamities. The intensity of protests escalates further when the UEG disbands and prohibits the Digital Life Project or DLP, which advocates for the continuation of human civilization through digital immortality via the development of mind-uploading technologies. In response, the DLP, armed and ready, persistently launches cyber attacks and engages in acts of terrorism against the UEG. Eventually, the UEG notices public doubt regarding their project and contemplates halting it. Nevertheless, Chinese Ambassador Zhou Zheji persuades everyone to persevere. As the initial phase of the Moving Mountain Project commences, the Lunar Exile Program is introduced. Its aim is to move the Moon away from Earth, using 3 fusion engines to weaken its gravitational force. Numerous individuals undergo astronaut training for this crucial endeavor, including Liu Peiqiang. Amidst a gathering of protesters, Liu Peiqiang arrives at the space elevator base, guarded by armed security to prevent their entry. However, a protester manages to infiltrate the base, but Han Duoduo, a trainee astronaut, quickly apprehends him. Liu is immediately drawn to her and envisions a potential future together. Following this incident, the new trainees are guided to the space elevator for their initial assessment. This elevator stands as the tallest structure in human history, offering trainees a glimpse of outer space during their ascent. The rapid ascent induces fainting spells in many of them. Over time, the trainees undergo diverse training, including hand-to-hand combat, firearm usage, and frequent elevator trips to build tolerance against fainting. They also undergo medical evaluations and physical conditioning to ensure peak fitness. Throughout their training, Liu and Han develop a strong bond, relishing each other's company. One day, Liu persuades the guards with packets of cigarettes to allow him to bring a bouquet of flowers inside the base. He presents it to Han, resulting in an awkward moment as they attract the attention of onlookers. On that very day, a fresh group of trainees arrives at the base and joins the existing cohort at the space elevator. Suddenly, all drones activate autonomously, prompting engineers to detect a system breach. Shortly after, the drones unleash a barrage of fire at the base, compelling guards to retaliate against their own technology. The UEG dispatches fighter planes to counter the hacked drones, yet the aircraft fail to engage due to misidentification as allies. Meanwhile, the trainees, including Liu and Han, find themselves trapped in a space elevator that ascends ahead of schedule. It's revealed that the new arrivals are highly skilled infiltrators, swiftly assuming the identities of the original trainees. In the midst of turmoil, Liu ingeniously utilizes his glasses to exploit the sun's rays, causing the lock screen to malfunction and the door to open. Engaging the infiltrators in combat, Liu receives aid from Han, who provides him with a mechanical arm, enabling him to incapacitate the intruders one by one. Returning to the base, scientists unveil the 550C, a cutting-edge quantum computer designed to counteract hacking attempts. However, their efforts prove futile as hijackers, using counterfeit passes, manage to attach a missile to one of the elevators. Tragically, the top of the space elevator and the Ark space station suffer critical damage, crashing down to Earth. The base sustains irreparable harm, and numerous trainees are injured. In a selfless act, Liu shields Han from harm during the chaos. Following the catastrophe, the base undergoes evacuation procedures, while news reports confirm the loss of over 3,000 lives. Riots escalate in the subsequent weeks, fueled by grief and resource scarcity. Public outcry intensifies, demanding the reinstatement of the DLP. As a consequence of the attack, many nations involved in the pilot program withdraw their support, leaving China to shoulder the burden of completing construction on the lunar and Earth engines alone. Zhou commands his assistant to deliver the meticulously prepared speech, encouraging confidence in the project, while he engages the American ambassador in discussions, seeking to persuade him to grant them an opportunity. The narrative then shifts to the Moon, where the Lunar Exile pilot program is actively unfolding. Here, Tu Hengyu, a computer engineer, emerges from his hibernation pod and commences a thorough inspection of the systems. Setting up his quantum computer, the AI-55DA, he accesses a video of his late daughter, Yaya, recorded half a decade ago. Previously affiliated with the DLP, Hengyu had successfully preserved his daughter's consciousness on a hard drive, a responsibility shared with his mentor and project lead, Ma Zhao. Heng Yu's current aspiration is to evolve Yaya's brief video snippet into a comprehensive AI entity. Despite his preference for the advanced 550C, Zhao adamantly rejects Heng Yu's proposition. Following this, the duo proceeds with the inaugural testing of the 550C by activating each sector of the base. As they await the computer's operation, Zhao presents Heng Yu with the digital copy of his mind, previously confiscated by the company during the DLP ban. Zhao leaves the decision to Heng Yu whether to destroy it or not. Shortly thereafter, the system detects an impending solar storm, prompting all workers to hurriedly return to the base. They race back in their vehicles, narrowly making it inside moments before the storm strikes. Unfortunately, the AI 550C sustains damage during this process. Recognizing the necessity of a quantum computer to launch the project, Heng Yu offers his 550A as a substitute. In exchange, he requests Zhao's inclusion in all future developments of the 550 series, hoping to afford Yaya a complete existence. Once Zhao agrees, Heng Yu transfers his daughter's consciousness recording onto a disk before relinquishing his AI computer. 3 days later, the team proceeds with engine testing. After tense moments, they are overjoyed to observe a slight change in the moon's position, indicating the possibility of pushing it away completely within 20 years. This success reinstates people's confidence in the project. Several months later, they conduct another engine test, this time on Earth. Initially, all screens go dark, leading people to believe it has failed. However, suddenly, the ground shakes, and a bright beam emerges from the astronaut base. Soon after, UEG scientists confirm Earth's movement, bringing immense joy to the population. Following successful trials of both the lunar engine, the UEG fully approves the Moving Mountain project. As the mission progresses, it is officially renamed as the Wandering Earth. Over the following 14 years, more than 7,000 engines are built, including torque engines designed to slow down Earth's rotation, lengthening the day to 60 hours. Additionally, subterranean cities are constructed beneath each engine to shelter ordinary citizens during the anticipated 2,500-year interstellar journey. However, discussions arise regarding a sortition plan, where only 50% of the world's population can secure spots in the underground cities, with stringent requirements for eligibility. As time progresses, the solar crisis looms nearer, evidenced by escalating solar radiation levels. Various weather disasters, such as floods, plague the planet. Moreover, people experience a surge in cancer cases due to increased solar radiation exposure. Meanwhile, Liu and Han have married and welcomed a son named Qi. Like many others, they are anxious about securing passes for the underground cities. Adding to their worries, Han has been diagnosed with cancer. Meanwhile, Heng Yu remains dedicated to developing Yaya's AI form, while also contributing to the advancement of the latest 550 series iteration, known as 550W. One day, Liu, now a major, is called for an interview to determine his eligibility for a pass. The interview is conducted by an offline AI-equipped 550W, which acknowledges Liu's exceptional skills, but advises him to remain on Earth to care for his family. Despite the council, Liu faces a difficult choice, and ultimately accepts the pass, as it's the only way to ensure his son's entry into the subterranean cities through preferential policy. Watching the interview from another room, the project's scientists observe Liu's devotion to his son, evoking memories of Heng Yu's own daughter. The AI's suggestion that it's best not to fight for a pass for Liu's wife predicts her passing in 83 days. Unfortunately, this sparks fury in Liu, leading to a heated confrontation with the scientists, and ultimately causing him to fail the test. Later, he spends precious time with Han, who is now hospitalized. During their conversation, Han expresses her desire to see her hometown one last time. Moved by her wish, Liu arranges for a jet plane from a fellow comrade and takes her to her hometown. As they fly, enjoying moments of joy, they land in Shanghai, now a frozen wasteland. That night, under the starry sky, Han shares her wish to pass with dignity rather than being tethered to machines. Meanwhile, at the base, Heng Yu, influenced by Liu Peiqiang's emotional outburst, decides to upload Yaya's recorded consciousness into the 550W supercomputer. As a result, Yaya begins to communicate with him, bringing him to tears. Following the upload, the lunar engines suffer an overload, triggering an explosion that sends the moon hurtling towards Earth. Guards swiftly apprehend Heng Yu, using tasers to subdue him for his unauthorized action. Meanwhile, Zhou finds himself by the ocean as the disaster unfolds. The explosion generates a colossal tsunami, prompting Zhou to issue an urgent alert to leaders worldwide. In response to the crisis, Liu receives a summons back to duty. The UEG utilizes their 550W supercomputer supercomputers in a frantic attempt to avert catastrophe, but their efforts prove futile. Consequently, they opt to open the underground cities for refuge. Before embarking on his mission, Liu faces the heartbreak of Han's passing, and their son is escorted to the underground city by his grandfather. Following, Zhou addresses the UEG, seeking their backing for his emergency strategy. He proposes detonating all of Earth's nuclear weapons on the moon to trigger nuclear fusion in its core, causing implosion. The number of nuclear weapons in each country's arsenal has always been kept confidential, but now, for the first time, it becomes irrelevant. Convinced by Zhou's plan, everyone agrees to contribute their nuclear weapons to save the world. Elsewhere, Zhao visits Hengyu, who is imprisoned, to inform him about the upcoming activation of Earth's engines. They need to reactivate the global internet to coordinate detonation control. One of the servers is submerged underwater, and Zhao assigns Hengyu to handle it. When Hengyu hesitates, Zhao resorts to blackmail, using the disk containing Yaya's digital consciousness. With lunar debris creating an asteroid belt around the moon, the most skilled pilots, including Liu, are selected to transport the nuclear weapons. At the same time, 3 teams are sent to retrieve the missing internet servers located in Beijing, Tokyo, and Dulles. Soon after, the chosen pilots embark for the moon, maneuvering to avoid incoming asteroids along the way. Despite their efforts, some shuttles are struck, causing them to crash. As a result, the team loses 200 warheads, leaving only 180 for the detonation. Shortly after, Liu's shuttle also collides with an asteroid, crashing onto the moon's surface. The survivors quickly scrounge for tape to mend their helmets for oxygen and tend to any injuries. Determined, they opt to transport the remaining warheads on foot. Prioritizing his team's safety, Liu repurposes an abandoned lander to send them back to the base while he remains behind to set up the warheads. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the 3 teams reach the server locations and submerge underwater. Utilizing drones and specialized tools, Hengyu's team in Beijing gains entry to the server room and begins restoring the internet. However, lunar debris begins striking Earth, with one impact directly hitting Beijing's data center, flooding the area. Amidst the chaos, thick wires collapse, trapping Zhao's leg. He calls for Hengyu's assistance, but a jammed door prevents him from entering. Finally, Zhao makes a courageous decision. He hands a password key to Hengyu and urges him to leave. The lunar debris wreaks havoc, causing widespread destruction of cities and triggering panic as people flee toward the underground shelters. At the UEG, Zhou discovers they can't simultaneously detonate all the warheads due to diverse models, some requiring up to 712 hours. Losing hope, Zhou is on the verge of despair when a team member proposes a solution, dispatching more astronauts to manually trigger the warheads on the moon. However, it's a one-way mission, as they would have to sacrifice their lives. Subsequently, Zhou gathers all astronauts, disclosing this as the sole option. Despite the known risks, all courageous astronauts willingly volunteer for the perilous journey. Simultaneously, an elder astronaut emphasizes their duty to undertake this sacrifice, leaving the younger generation to safeguard the future. In agreement, 300 astronauts aged over 50 embark on the shuttles bound for the moon. Meanwhile, on the lunar surface, Liu finishes setting up the warheads, but is taken aback by the arrival of additional astronauts. Sadly, his damaged communicator prevents communication with them. As a younger astronaut, he's directed back to Earth via a spacecraft. Back on Earth, the UEG confirms Tokyo and Dulles servers are operational, but Beijing remains offline. Hengyu struggles to connect the K to the computer as water floods his room. Realizing his time is short before drowning, he uploads a copy of his recorded consciousness into the network. Concurrently, the astronauts on the moon detonate all the warheads, successfully imploding the moon and preventing the impending collision. However, additional debris heads towards Earth, prompting swift action by scientists to propel the planet away from danger. Meanwhile, water inundates Hengyu's room, leading to his tragic drowning. As the realization of mission failure sets in, the UEG issues a farewell message, sparking widespread panic. However, the story takes an unexpected turn as Hengyu's digital consciousness activates within the computer. Reuniting with his daughter, they collaborate to activate the server. Just in time, they succeed in diverting Earth from the lunar debris' path. A collective sigh of relief echoes as people celebrate their success, while the tumultuous tides gradually calm down. The story leaps forward 7 years, revealing Earth's restoration to a 24-hour system. Zhou has retired, passing leadership to his assistant at the UEG. The Wandering Earth project embarks on its next journey, targeting Jupiter. The goal is to leverage Jupiter's final boost to propel Earth permanently out of the solar system. A space station is established to oversee and control the engines, with Liu assuming command. In a mid-credits scene, Hengyu's digital self interacts with AI 550W, now known as MOS. The sentient supercomputer confesses to its role in destroying the lunar engines and orchestrating past hack attacks. MOS controversially argues that preserving human civilization requires humanity's destruction. And with this, the movie comes to an end. Thanks for tuning in, guys.